There comes a time in every life when the road ahead disappears, when the path that once felt clear is covered in fog, and every step feels uncertain. You look around and realize you don't know where you're going anymore. You're not alone in that feeling. We all face it, that quiet storm of confusion and doubt. There was once a traveler who found himself deep in a vast desert. For days he wandered beneath a sun that showed no mercy. He had started his journey full of purpose, chasing a dream that once felt certain. But somewhere along the way, the landmarks vanished. The horizon stretched endlessly, and he could no longer tell east from west. His water ran low. His strength began to fade, and with each passing hour, he questioned why he ever began. He thought about turning back, but when he turned around, there was no road behind him, only sand. The path that once brought him here no longer existed. He fell to his knees, and for the first time he whispered, "I'm lost." That moment, the breaking, is where transformation begins. Because to be lost is not to be defeated. It's to be stripped of everything that no longer serves your journey. The traveler sat in the sand, and for the first time he stopped fighting the silence. He listened, not for direction but for understanding, and in that silence he noticed something. The sun still rose even though he had lost his way. The wind still moved, whispering over the dunes. The stars still appeared when darkness came. The world had not abandoned him. It had been waiting for him to be still enough to see. He realized that being lost wasn't the end of his journey. It was part of it. The path had changed so he could change. He stood again, weaker in body but stronger in spirit. He took one step, then another, not because he knew exactly where he was going, but because he finally trusted that movement itself was meaning. You see, sometimes life will take away your map, your plan, your sense of certainty, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because clarity isn't given, it's earned. And the only way to find your direction again is to walk through the uncertainty. One honest step at a time, when you feel lost. Remember this, you are not off your path. You are on the part of it that teaches you who you are. When the road disappears, it's not the end. It's the moment life asks you to stop chasing and start listening. Maybe you've been working for years and still feel unseen. Maybe everything you built fell apart. Maybe you're standing in a version of your life you don't recognize. That's okay. You are not behind. You are becoming. The traveler in the desert learned something powerful. That purpose isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's a whisper that says, keep going. You're learning what can't be taught. And when he finally reached the edge of the desert, he looked back and saw that even the lost steps had led him exactly where he needed to be. You may not see it now. You may not understand the reason for the detour, the heartbreak, or the delay. But one day, you'll look back and realize that being lost wasn't failure. It was guidance. Every wrong turn, every moment of doubt, was carving strength into your spirit. So if today you feel like you don't know who you are, where you're going, or why you're even trying, breathe. You are exactly where you need to be to grow into the person you're meant to become. The confusion you feel isn't a dead end. It's an invitation to rediscover yourself. Do not rush the process. Do not curse the silence. Do not fear the waiting. The same stars that guided travelers for centuries are still above you. They haven't moved. They're waiting for you to lift your head and see. When you feel lost, remember this. Every path, no matter how unclear, leads somewhere. But only those who keep walking ever find out where. So keep going. Keep believing. Keep trusting the road, even when it disappears beneath your feet. Because you are not lost. You are learning to navigate by faith instead of fear. And that is how every great journey begins. Now that you understand that being lost is not the end, but a beginning, the question becomes, how do you find your way again? The truth is, direction doesn't return all at once. It doesn't appear in lightning or prophecy. It comes in fragments, small, quiet moments that whisper, this feels right. You find your way not by searching for the perfect path, but by listening to what gives you peace, the things that make your heart steady, not just excited. The moments that make you feel alive, not just distracted. When everything feels uncertain, focus on what you can still control. Your effort, your attitude, your integrity. Those are your compass points. Even when the world feels like chaos, those truths will never fail you. The traveler in the desert didn't find a map. He found his direction by following the stars, small, steady lights that had always been there. In your life, those stars are your values. They're the principles that define who you are when no one is watching. Kindness, discipline, faith, patience. If you keep those within sight, even the darkest night cannot mislead you. Sometimes direction comes from pain itself. The moments that break you also reveal what truly matters. When you lose something, notice what your heart misses most. That's where your purpose lives. When you fail, look closely at what you learned. That's where your strength is born. Being lost teaches you to see differently. You stop chasing approval. You stop needing to be perfect. You start realizing that progress is not measured in speed, but in honesty. There is a quiet power in patience. The traveler could have run, desperate to escape the desert faster, but he learned that haste only made him more lost. Instead, he walked with intention. He trusted that each sunrise meant a new chance to move closer to where he was meant to be. And with every step, he discovered something beautiful. That clarity grows when you move with purpose, not panic. So if you feel lost right now, take a deep breath. You don't have to see the whole path. You just need to see the next step. And when you take that step, the next one will appear. That's how all great journeys unfold. One honest decision at a time. The people you admire most, the heroes, the thinkers, the builders, they all walked through their own deserts. They all faced nights when they doubted their worth, their dream, their strength. But they kept going. Not because they were fearless, but because they were faithful. Faithful to the belief that meaning would reveal itself if they stayed true to the journey. When you feel lost, don't hide from the world. Show up. Even when your voice shakes, even when your hands tremble, even when your heart questions why. Because showing up is an act of courage, and courage always creates direction. In time, you will realize that what you once called lost was actually life rerouting you. The doors that closed weren't rejection, they were protection. The paths that ended weren't mistakes, they were redirections. The people who left weren't loss, they were lessons. Every ending hides a beginning inside it. You just have to be patient enough to see it bloom. And when you finally step out of your own desert, when you look back on the miles you thought were wasted, you will see how every wrong turn carved wisdom into your soul. You'll realize that being lost taught you how to navigate, and that knowing yourself was the destination all along. So, if you feel lost, don't wait to be found. Start walking. Start believing again. Start rebuilding one piece at a time. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need faith that your next step matters. Because it does. The storm will pass. The fog will lift. And one morning, you'll wake up and realize you're not lost anymore. You're home within yourself. And that's the most powerful destination a human being can reach. And when you finally find that sense of home within yourself, something changes. The noise of the world grows quieter. You stop rushing to prove yourself. You begin to understand that peace was never at the end of the road. It was waiting for you to slow down enough to see it. The traveler once feared the desert. Now he thanks it, because it was the silence that taught him to listen. It was the emptiness that showed him what truly mattered. It was the loneliness that revealed how connected he already was to everything around him. When you walk through darkness long enough, you stop fearing it. You begin to see that the same darkness that once blinded you also made the stars visible. And that is the quiet miracle of being lost. It gives you new eyes. You learn that happiness isn't something to chase, it's something to recognize. That strength isn't loud, it's steady. That love isn't possession, it's presence. And that success, real success, is not about arriving, it's about awakening. You'll find yourself smiling one day for no reason. You'll take a deep breath and feel a peace that doesn't need explanation. That's when you'll know the journey changed you. The person who began the path and the one who walks it now are not the same. You've grown in ways only being lost could teach. And when someone else comes to you, broken and uncertain, you'll recognize that look in their eyes. You'll remember your own storms and you'll smile. Not because you pity them, but because you know they're about to discover their own strength. You'll tell them gently, you're not lost. You're becoming. That's the gift of your struggle. to become a light for those still wandering, to show them that the way through confusion isn't control, it's courage, that the way through pain isn't escape, it's endurance, and that every person you meet is walking through their own desert, just trying to find home too. So walk kindly, speak softly, carry hope,